Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we continue with part 2 of the American black bear, or known as Ursa americanus. And thanks to everybody who participated in last week's vote. As always, it means the world to me, but I won't reveal the result until the very end of the episode, okay? All right. So, before we continue on and finish up with the black bears, as always, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button so that you can check out my other content, as well as see special updates for future projects. In addition to projects, you can check out some special conservation projects from all over the world, as well as certain projects you can do in your own backyard from my Facebook account. And finally, if you're still having questions about animals, or if you would like me to do an animal in the future, send me an email, which you'll find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's move on with the wild things about black bears. Now, how many of you have ever seen, I know they're called black bears, but have you ever seen any bears of these colors? Now, at first, in this picture here, it may look like you're looking at just another brown bear or a grizzly bear, right? You're actually looking at a black bear. That's because, despite the name, black bears can actually come in a variety of different colors. So here I wanted to showcase a little special difference between a black bear and a grizzly bear. So here it says, note, color can't be used for identification because it doesn't count. So here I'd like to show you a little bit of some differences so that if you're out in nature and if you see a bear and you're not sure, here's some special key features. If you're looking at a black bear only if you see a bear that doesn't really have much of a hump around their shoulders. It has no hump. It's more of a straight profile, especially with their face. While the famous grizzly bear actually has more of a dish-like face profile, as well as that characteristic hump on their shoulders. And they are obviously a lot more heftier or more bulkier than their cousin, the American black bear. Now, here I'd like to show you, like I said last week, you may recall that I said that there are 16 different subspecies of black bears. Well, like I said, they might come as different colors. So here we have a glacier blue bear, we have a blonde bear, a glacier kermode bear, even a chocolate colored black bear, similar to like that of a chocolate Labrador. In fact, I actually once had a dog that was very similar to this color. It's pretty cool though, huh? So in fact, I actually would like to bring up a special deal with wolves. Recently, a while ago, during my wolf episode, I had gotten asked a question about why wolves have different colors of fur, why their colors of their fur is different, if it's shade or anything. The answer really is, it's just more genetic. Black wolves are more rare, but that can be more of a sign of dominance. As they get older, their coloration changes. Certain animals over time, like lions or maybe giraffes or just other animals, sometimes the coloration of their fur may change because of more maturity, or as they change their status from maybe a lesser to becoming the more dominant animal in a pack or of the other animals in the area. So, if you catch my point. Now, also, a major important thing about bears in general, they're pretty smart. Now, they're not exactly like primate smart or human smart, but give them enough time, black bears especially will figure out new ways of surviving. This is how they're able to always stay one step ahead of the game. But unfortunately, that can bring and cause some major problems that I'd like to address to you now. With, unfortunately, the problems and challenges. Now, you might think because of some conflicts with humans and such that they might be an endangered species, right? Fortunately, they are not. This is basically due to the black bear's highly adaptable abilities, as well as how widely distributed they are across the North American continent. I mean, from Florida to Washington to New York, upper state New York. to the Midwest, even all the way up to Alaska, these animals are highly adaptable. They can survive in a variety of different habitats. And really, if you have a bear in your backyard, I know it's scary at first, but really, it's the best thing because that means your environment is healthy. But now, of course, like I said, they're not in danger. Just like brown bears, they're not really endangered too much, but they are facing challenges, especially in the Yellowstone National Park's past. See, if you think back to the 1960s, it was often more of a tradition to actually roll down your windows as you were driving in your car through the park and throw bits of food for the bears. Now, at first it seemed okay. It was all playful fun. No harm, no foul, right? Unfortunately, there was a lot of harm and there was a lot of foul. See, the problem is the bears soon got more and more comfortable around people. And unfortunately, there were some incidents, and there have been, and throughout history really, bears and people really don't mix. And unfortunately, when humans go by, and if the bears are hungry, and when the human doesn't really have any food, well, unfortunately, then they can either have an attack or resolve in a conflict, or they start entering more into the human suburbs and start going through people's garbage. And well, the animals themselves are not to blame. Remember, it's always important that we shouldn't be forcing any of these creatures out of their natural habitat or into extinction, or we shouldn't always be pinpointing the blame on animals. Although there are some incidents where they can be problematic over time, but really, originally, they don't mean harm. They're just trying to survive in their natural habitat. They're just trying to do what nature told them to do. They're looking for food wherever they can find it. Now, of course, it's always important to remember that bears can be dangerous when conflicts arise. But people always think that bears are just always dangerous and mean. Truth is, they're more frightened of us than we give them credit for. They'd rather, like I've said already, they really prefer to be roaming the forest looking for something to eat, rather than bothering any human or any other animal. But unfortunately, when they start having a bit of a taste when they start eating maybe leftover pet food, as well as human foods that we may leave behind at picnic areas, henceforth, I think the creation of Yogi Bear, really, that's what it causes problems, and they can begin to lose a bit of their wild side. So now, the big question is, how do we learn to coexist with these animals? Well, for starters, as I've said, the bears in general are an important factor in a habitat because if you have a bear in your area, that means your environment is completely healthy because an ecosystem really does rely on bears to keep nature in balance. They'll eat decomposing animals, they'll keep insect populations at bay as they look under logs or other places for insects. They eat certain fish. They keep a lot of populations in check. And they even help disperse seeds. As they go to the bathroom, new trees can grow from where the bear may have gone to the bathroom. But now, it's always important when you're out there in nature to just be on your guard. So that's why at the end of today's episode, I'd like you all to join me in the next few minutes for a special How to Stay Safe episode on keeping yourself safe when out in nature and the possibilities of running into a bear are a little more increased. But another way of helping these bears, as always with many different animal species now, because of habitat loss being one of their primary causes for more increased conflicts, wildlife corridors, like this bridge over a pass, it's what can save them. It can resolve them from getting run over on the road, and they can reduce the conflict between people and nature. By doing all these practices and just keeping your distance as well as learning how to be smart around bears out in the wild, you're doing your part to helping keep them around for the next 100 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to reveal the next week's episode, which is the Trumpeter Swan. So until next week, and join me for the next episode, but until then, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.